Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to make this really lovely Celebrating Your Day card. It can be used for birthdays or Father's Day. I meant it to be just a little bit more masculine, but if you've got a lady out there that loves green, this is probably a good card for them as well. So I have actually used 3 different stamp sets for this. I'm using the Celebrating Your Day die from the gorgeous Posies set. I'm using the leaves and branch from the very Versailles set, and I'm using the stacked stone background stamp. Now I really love the stacked stone set, so it's really effective. I have done the card base in Old Olive. I've done a smoky slate matte in 5 1/4 by 4, and then I've done a basic white matte in 5 by 3 3/4. The piece in the middle is 1 inch by 4 inch, and then I used the lovely labels Pick-a-Punch to decorate the ends, and I used this smoky slate and a sponge to just bring out the edge a little bit. So fairly simple, pretty much straightforward, just stamping on this one. So I'm just going to pop this up here so we can see it while we're building the card. There is a fair amount of stamping on this one. I'm just going to put everything off to the side so that I've got some room to work. So that is perfect. So I am going to start with the stacked stone and my 5 by 3 3/4 piece. I'm just going to move my name tag off. You won't be able to see it, but that's okay. I'm going to take my stamp pad and ink it up. You can also do this on the Stamparatus if you've got one. It works really well that way. Now we are doing this as second value. So we're going to take this and we're just going to stamp it off on our background paper, our worktop paper, and then I'm going to just place it down on my basic white, and there is the stacked stone background. And then I used the leaves on the branches from the very Versailles set, and I did 2 values of the Old Olive. I stamped it up, and I started up in the corner here like that, so it's just a bit off the edge, and then I came in and did second value, and then I'm going to do another value over here. I'm doing this one just slightly differently. They all do end up just a little bit different, and I'm just going to drag the branch and leaves down there. And again, we have to be careful when we do a second stamp that we don't end up making a shadow line, because if you stamp off the edge, there's still going to be a level of ink on the stamp, and then you'll end up with a demarcation line in your image. So I'm just going to clean this off because we're going to come in with Sahara sand as well, just to give it a little bit more depth and fill it in just a little bit more. And then we can attach the card pieces together and stamp the greeting. So I'm just going to ink that up. I'm just going to pop it in like that, second value in like that. You can do a third value if you want. You can just run it off the bottom. Here I left a bit of a gap. This one I haven't left a gap at all. Again, it's entirely what strikes you at the time, however you'd like to do it. So I am going to take the greeting from the gorgeous Posies, the Celebrating Your Day, and I'm going to use Old Olive for this one. Now these aren't the photopolymer stamps, they're just the cling stamps. So sometimes you need to just make sure how it's going to stamp so you get it straight. That's what the grid paper is really good for. You can line up your stamp so you believe it's straight, and you stamp it down and see where you ended up. This one, I'm just a little bit crooked when I do that. So I'm going to make sure that when I line it up, I line it up just a little bit off, and then you come out exactly square. Again, the Stamparatus is really good for this because you can line things up, set things up just as you need them to be. So I'm going to take my greeting, and I'm using the more square of the Lovely Labels punch, and I am going to pop that in. I always use my punches upside down when I'm doing these because the paper's 1 inch by 4 inches, so it fits in perfectly, but I want to make sure that it's absolutely cutting straight on the end. So I put it in and I use the stamp upside down, or the punch, sorry, upside down. And then that goes across the card like that. And there's my other little piece. So I am going to assemble the card now, get all the pieces put together. So I've got my old olive card base. I've got my smoky slate 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm just going to line this up and drop it down. I'm going to do the same with my card front. Let's do this and line it up and drop it down. Now, if I put this on like this, it's okay, but it's just, to me, it's just a little bit plain. It's, again, whatever your taste. I'm using a smoky slate and a sponge because with the new foam stamp pads, you never want to drag your paper through like we used to with the linen pads. We're just going to dip it and just rub it along the edge, and you don't think it's really doing anything. You think, well, it doesn't even hardly show, but it shows up a lot. It's very, very, very good. You can, I don't know if you can see, when I put it down, you can really see the outline there. And you can smudge as much on as you want or as little. You can kind of go into the edge if you want and just keep putting it around to give it some little bit of depth. And then we are going to use dimensionals because it wouldn't be a video if Lorraine hadn't used dimensionals. So we're just going to pop 3 along the back here. And then we will attach it to the card. And that is the card all done. Quick, really effective use of stamp sets. The Very Versailles stamp set is one of my favorites. It's still in the catalog. Has been for a couple of years now. And it really is so versatile. So I thought I would revisit one of my past favorites and use it on this one. So there you go. There is the card made. There's 2 different versions of it. One with leaves more strategically placed. This one with leaves kind of falling as you will. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If there is anything in the video that you would like to purchase, please use the links below, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much.